Hey guys, it's Sun for Games. Welcome back for 2017 E3 coverage, this time with Bethesda's presentation at midnight Eastern Standard Time last night. So I was a little behind the ball on this one. I had to go to sleep. I was exhausted. But I woke up this morning, checked it out when I got a chance, and it was interesting. It wasn't well received by most, it seems like. And let's get right into why. With going through what happened during the presentation. So it opened up with an interesting approach to a conference like this, with kind of going into the lives of the developers. It was they were interviewing kids, saying like, what do your parents do for a living? All the kids are saying cute shit like, I don't know, they like computers. And then it was kind of like, the developers themselves are saying things like, I love developing. I've always loved games. I've always wanted to do this. I get up every day and I'm super happy to go into work to work on these games. Kind of like humanizing them. It almost set the tone for like a defensive stance. Like, we're people. Don't get too mad. We're real people. So they kind of just moved on, and the whole presentation was one live, continuously playing pre-scripted video focused around this Bethesda land, which I don't know, is similar to how they do like the Fallout kind of like animations. It was very like cutesy, like throwback to like the 50s kind of thing. But anyways. Bethesda land, they went right into the games. Opened up with Doom VR. I want to say it said something about UAC VR. I don't know. Anyways, Doom VR, VFR. Forget what that stood for. Looks like interesting. It looks, using the new Doom engine, very visually impressive, but a lot of the movement, which is one of the bigger questions of VR, like how do you handle that kind of movement, seems to be through like a teleportation where you kind of aim with a different kind of reticle, and then you teleport to that location, and if you do it onto an enemy that's kind of weakened, you do those like murderous techniques. Looked really cool. Didn't look super for me, but I don't know, it had some really cool gunplay. And you obviously get to like, fight Doom enemies with Doom guns with VR. It seemed neat. I wouldn't pay too much for it, me personally. It wasn't, I don't think, directed at me, but it's exciting to see Bethesda go after some VR titles with AAA games. This one, I struggle with AAA for this one, but it's still a big title. And I'd like to see more big developers put a lot of effort into VR, because I feel like VR is in a weird place right now where the tech's really fun and interesting, but there aren't a lot of games to support it, and nobody really wants to risk anything. So anyways, I'm glad to see they're doing it. Moving on to more VR with Fallout 4 VR. This looks like Fallout 4, the Fallout 4 we knew and some people loved, and it's all in VR. They've adjusted a lot of the game to work with VR. We don't know everything, or maybe people do now that have played it on the E3 demo floor. But it looks like movement's probably handled by some kind of external controller, either the controllers, the VR controllers with like a stick to move you around, or just Xbox 360 controller to move you around. I don't know how you kind of look beyond your peripherals. My buddy Kurt and I are always debating like, what if you want to look past 180 degrees? Like, do you always just spin around like in the room you're in? I don't know. Anyways, neat. Looks really cool. It's Fallout 4 would be a really cool environment to explore in VR. So I'm really excited to see a title like that come to VR. I think that, along with games like the Resident Evil, newer Resident Evil game, could really push VR. It's like, these are big games that are coming out on the VR platform. Like, you should buy VR. So, cool stuff. Tell me what you think about Fallout 4 VR. Did you play Fallout 4? People are getting a little upset about this announcement because you have to pay full price for Fallout 4 VR, even if you already bought Fallout 4. And essentially, people have already kind of like, hacked is the wrong word, but tricked Fallout 4 into accepting existing VR platforms, even though, this will be, in theory, a more in-depth reworking of the game to support VR, but people have it working. So, to pay full price for a game you already own, I don't know, it's just not really... didn't tickle people the right way. So, moving on. This is where things got a little weird. They, promoted Elder Scrolls Online Morrowind. So Morrowind just was released a week or two ago. So it's not unusual for them to do a little preview for it. But the way they did it was they showed a bunch of like content creators for YouTube and Twitch streamers reacting to the trailer they released like 4 or 6 months ago, which was a cool trailer. But they showed these guys and girls reacting and being like, oh my god, like overreacting. The one guy was like, did it ice shield? Are you kidding me? Ice shield? Like, guys, I loved Morrowind. I wasn't that excited for that trailer. I was excited when that... Anyways, so that was a little goofy and kind of set the tone kind of weird. And then It was, 3 minutes later, and they're just like, they continue showing the trailer for Morrowind. They're like, Morrowind, play now. I'm like, I know. That was just it was a advertisement. It was a big advertisement in the middle of Bethesda's presentation. And, it wouldn't be such a big deal if it was like one tiny little aspect, but it was like 4 minutes of a presentation that only had like 10 games. So, I don't know. Just, again, started to rub people the wrong way. Which then led into the Creations Club announcement. Creations Club, and I'm not going to go into a ton of detail here, A, because I might get it wrong. I haven't done a ton of research on this. I only know the basics. And not all the information has been revealed, but it's kind of sort of paid mods again, it looks like. They're trying to bring back for Fallout 4 and Skyrim the mod system working with Bethesda, modders, simultaneously interacting with Bethesda, providing ideas and I'm assuming development effort while Bethesda quality controls all these, goes through each suggestion and vets them. A lot of the problem with the original attempt they had for like I don't remember what they called it, the paid mods, was that people were stealing mods from legitimate sources, posting them on the system for pay, and there wasn't really any controls and checks. So Bethesda will be going through each of the mods themselves, in theory helping to make sure that they all interact together well. It's supposed to be, in theory, Bethesda supporting the mods to make it a more user-friendly and stable system, and you can, purchase these in-game with credits. We don't know what the credits means. Obviously, I would assume that credits tie to real funds somewhere. People were not happy about this. The modding community has long been an amazing aspect of gaming, for free content, user-created content from the community, by the community, free of developer control, and free in general. And for Bethesda to then say, we're going to work with you, whereas so far it's been like we determine what we consider to be like a valid mod that we'd like to download. If it doesn't interact well with our other mods, we don't download it, we downvote it, whatever. Now Bethesda wants to get involved and also take some money for themselves and away from the modders, even if we wanted to donate to modders. The whole thing, just people are just not happy about how it was approached, because it was also kind of just like, yes, the mod system. Not a lot of information was really said. There's just these credits. We all get the idea, but there's not a lot of detail. It just rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and we'll see where it goes. Obviously, the last attempt was a miserable failure. People were furious and did not go too well, but that was more integrated with Steam. This is not, so we'll see. Then they jumped into the Elder Scrolls Legends, which is an existing card game, which kind of sets the tone for the rest of this thing. Most of the games were existing, or sequels we'll get into in a little bit. But anyways, Elder Scrolls Legend is coming to mobile soon. That's kind of neat if you like the game. It's a card game I haven't really checked out before. But it's coming to mobile. I forgot to write down the day. I want to say August, sometime in August, but I just made that up out of my head. So that could be wrong. Fact check my made up fact. It also is like got some sort of Skyrim focused, I don't know, card pack. I'm not really sure how the game works, so I'm not really sure what they were trying to sell me with the Skyrim. But that's sort of the point. Is I was paying attention, I was watching this, and I was still like, I don't know what are you talking about? I don't know what Elder Scrolls Legends really means, so I don't know what you're saying. So then they jumped into Skyrim on the Switch. Now this would have been a huge deal and really exciting, I think, if they hadn't opened up all the Switch trailers with Skyrim on the Switch. We really kind of all suspected it was coming because of all the Switch trailers from the launch. Still neat. It's just that Skyrim's kind of old now. It's like a 5 or 6 year old game. And their big thing was that like they had an amiibo interaction with the Switch where you put the Link amiibo and then you could get like a Link Master Sword and the Hyrulean Shield, which I don't really like. I mean, that's like a mod. I think that's a mod out there. People can already download that. So it's cool. They showed some ways you can swing the right Joy-Con, left Joy-Con to like interact with shield and sword, and like they did a little bow thing, and that's all kind of cool. Again, cool game for anyone that didn't play it 5 or 6 years ago when it was released, or in the years since on any other platform. I think it's cool that it's totally mobile. I don't know if I'll get it. We'll see. If there are plenty of other games for me to play on the Switch, I probably won't shoot for Skyrim first. I've played it a million times. But yeah, so again, Skyrim 6 years later still being their like big seller. Everyone's like, where is Elder Scrolls 6? How are you still trying to milk Skyrim for more money? So continuing the trend of like people just getting a little tweaked at this point. And I think part of the problem is at this point I was starting to listen for. I was like, where's the kind of upset audience reaction? And the way they did all streams this year was very professionally done. They've had some problems in the past with this, where they faded just totally into the trailer that they were showing, and the audience has faded out completely, which I kind of was a little upset about because you don't get to hear that amazing audience reaction of like when they. I remember at 1E3 when they were showing off Halo 2, and they showed the Master Chief like jumping onto a ghost for the first time, and that like wasn't a thing, and the audience like erupted, and it was like super awesome. And I miss having that reaction. Otherwise, I'm just kind of watching a trailer for an hour, and I don't get to feel what the audience is doing. And with the way Bethesda did it, there were no gaps. There were no gaps where anybody came on stage, and those gaps kind of give you a quick insight into the feel of the audience and how people are reacting. And they didn't have any of that. It was just running this 40 minute video, pre-prepared video with all of these trailers kind of back to back. So we never really got to feel what the audience was reacting, but I can't imagine it was that good if it's the internet is any indication for anything. But that was, so kind of was just bummed that I didn't get to hear what the audience was thinking about all this. So then they showed a new, it sounds like a standalone, I don't know if it's DLC or a standalone for Dishonored 2. Looks cool. I didn't actually play Dishonored 2, but I played Dishonored 1 a lot. Really enjoyed it. I just haven't bought the second one yet. The standalone or DLC, whatever it ends up being, looks like a pretty cool concept. So I'm sure people that love Dishonored 2 are excited about that. Then they bring about Quake Champions, which I'm still not really sure if this is a remake that they've kind of like, enhanced for modern visuals to an extent, or if it's a totally new game that they just kind of made look very classic. It's the visuals, it's hard to get a feel for is it old, is it new? I can't put my finger on it. It's a very fast-moving game reminiscent of the original Quake, which is, it's hard to narrow down. Anyways, check it out. But they kind of made this claim that Quake 1 was the birth of esports with, one of the first LAN party competitions and everything. I'm not sure if that's true or not. If it is, it's pretty cool. It's a nice little tagline. I know that era was definitely the start of what we consider, professional, competitive first-person shooter. So, could be true. I know Quake was one of the first, so that's cool. But anyways, Quake Champions, they had a little esports montage. Think they're going to do a $1 million competition for, to kind of like generate some hype for Quake Champions. I think that's cool. That sounds pretty neat. But again, Quake Champions is kind of like this offshoot thing, trying to bring back a little nostalgic fun. I'll definitely check it out. But again, now we're nearing the end of the conference, and everyone's like, what do you got for us? Then they played a really cool trailer. I'm not going to discount it. Really sweet looking, creepy trailer about Evil Dead 2. I did not play the Evil Dead 1, but I heard it was pretty well received. Like, eights across the board. People were like, it's a, really standard, fun horror game. So people are, that are fans of that one are probably really excited about Evil Dead 2. Oh my god, the bug's back. it's followed me. So it looks really creepy, but it was all CG, the whole trailer. Unless, if parts of it weren't CG, I want to rewatch that portion a little bit. They were very visually impressive, and it looked like it might have been more of a third-person or third-person, like, first-person segment. I just couldn't quite tell. It was very dark. I was like, I don't know if this is CG or not, but really cool trailer. Excited to see where that game goes. I might actually end up, especially as the fall rolls around with Halloween and stuff, pick up the one from last year, play through that, and a little bit of the Resident Evil game I've been avoiding. Closing out, though, they hit us with Wolfenstein 2, a 9-minute trailer, hitting us with a bunch of story, some CG, some in-game, tons of gameplay. It looks really cool. I did not play Wolfenstein, the last one from like 2014, 15, something like that. I heard that was really good, and I've been waiting for it to be on sale for like $10, which I think it has been a couple times. It's just like bad timing. I like had a ton of other games. I really want to play it. I've heard it's a great classic, just first-person shooter fun. Really want to check it out. And now that Wolfenstein 2 looks so amazing, I want to prime myself. I never really played any of those games when I was a kid, so I'd love to kind of get a little into the story. But anyways, the Wolfenstein 2 trailer, check it out. 9 minutes of really badass Wolfensteininess. It looks awesome. So let me know what you think about that. But ultimately, I think this is probably going to be remembered as one of Bethesda's less liked E3 presentations. Just with how they approached a lot of the stuff that people were like, I mean, the Creation Club, people are not going to receive paid mods well. You've got to be really careful about how you approach that, and I'm still not sure that they've really nailed that because of how people seem to be reacting so far. I'm not 100% against the practice of them, interacting with modders to create even better mods for some kind of price, but there has to be very understood rules around, and I want them to be very involved as developers, because otherwise what is the benefit of the developer getting involved outside of just the modders doing all that quality checks themselves? We need more information. We need more information. People are not happy about it. Skyrim on the Switch is cool. I just, it's an older game now. It's a fairly old game. It's neat. If it's like $10, I might buy it. I don't know. Just to play through like 10 seconds and be like, Skyrim's in my hand. But, well. Anywho. Let me know what you thought in the comments of the presentation if you watched it yourself. Like I said, I don't think it was the most well received, but they did have some cool news, like some of the VR stuff. While not two titles that I think I'd be interested in checking out for VR, I'm very happy to see Bethesda, putting some AAA stuff into VR right now to try and see if they can put some more life into that market. I'd love to see VR take off and give me a reason to spend $600 on a headset, because I want one. I just don't really feel like I'd use it enough. Anyways, I've already got to get to the Ubisoft conference. I watched that like 20 minutes ago, so I'm going to follow this up with that video, and then I've got about a half hour till Sony starts their conference, so hopefully I can get this stuff done and rolling. E3! Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Like the video if you liked it. Don't like it, or I keep saying that. Don't like it. Dislike it if you're tired of seeing all this E3 news. I am sorry. I love E3. I was so excited to talk about it, but definitely let me know more of what you'd like to see if you're not happy with how I'm presenting this kind of stuff. Anyways, I'll see you guys for the next conference, Ubisoft, and peace. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, you should totally think about subscribing. I've got videos coming out twice a week, and if you like this one, there's at least a chance you'll like some of the others that are very similar to this, so live dangerously. Let me know what you guys thought about the video in the comments and other videos you'd like to see. And finally, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Huntin for Games to keep up with all the latest stuff. See ya.